Assalamu alaikum, grade 7. How are you? Who am I? Faiza Nadeem. And what do I teach? English. So what I am going to teach you today is going to remain a mystery until you tell me that you are studying appropriately. Enjoying your life? Being respectful? Concerned about your salah? Be careful regarding all these things in your life. Let's move on to the board and let's find out what our today's lesson is all about. जी, मेरा बहुत प्यारा बेटा और बहुत प्यारी बिटिया. What is the board telling you? The board is telling you that you have to take your Oxford Progressive Reader out. And the unit that we shall be doing today is Unit 8, Family Feelings. And the specific comprehension that we are going to do today is a poem written by Tariq Latif. And the name of the poem is Chucky. Chucky सुना है जिसमें आटा पीसते हैं. So this poem is about that specific Chucky. और ये poem है pages 217 से 225 तक. I mean, poem is on page number 217, but we will be covering the next few pages as well. ठीक है? So let's move on to the poem. And then I'm going to come back and do the comprehension. So what I am going to do, I am going to read the poem for you. It's going to pop up on your screen. And then we are going to do the questions and answers. The Chucky. My grandmother straddles the Chucky. She funnels a handful of maize into the hole. Then she turns the upper slab clockwise, just as her mother used to. Sometimes she feels the grainy texture of her grandmother's palm, sometimes the flexible and awkward energy of young eager hands. Once, light spilled from between the slabs of the Chucky, and the mud-dried room filled with the spirits of all our mothers. Voices spoke, voices hummed, voices sang of lush gardens, wondrous and rich, of undimmed streams, and fountains that pour clear honey. But usually all she can see is her aging hand. All she can feel is an aching absence. My mother has a Phillips grinder, and my sister knows how to change the fuse. And when they make maize roti, we always have it with spinach and lots of butter. Sometimes the scents swivel my grandmother's elbow. Before our eyes, we recall the story of how our mother ran in with our father to tell her mother of their plans to go to England. How the grinding stopped and the flour spilled, and the sudden silence was interrupted by a gust which shut the door on the light. A very sentimental poem about the poet's grandmother and about how his grandmother had taken the news of them shifting to England, and the remembrance, the memory that is brought back to the poet by the aroma of that maize roti. Let's do the question answers. Let's move on to reading for interpretation. Interpretation का क्या मतलब होता है कि आपने poem से क्या understand किया, उसको interpret करें, उसको अल्फाज में, लफ्जों में बयान करें. ठीक है? Explain the 5 generations mentioned in this poem are poet's grandmother and her grandmother. Like ये आपका poet है, ठीक है? ये उसकी मदर है, ये उसकी ग्रैंडमदर है, ये उसकी ग्रैंडमदर की मदर है और ये उसकी ग्रैंडमदर है. तो ये 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ये 5 generations mention की गई हैं poem में. ठीक है. As the grandmother funnels the maize into the grinder, she hears the sounds and voices of all her mothers. ठीक है. What are those voices and what do you think they are saying? As it is mentioned in the poem that they are singing the songs of honey fountains. Obviously, they are discussing about the heaven. They are discussing how they are going to be together in the heavens, how they can reach the heavens, and what they are going to do over there. They are singing and chatting and praising the nature, the Allah Almighty, and thinking about the heavens. Why does grandmother feel an aching absence? What does the word aching tell you about how she is feeling? Aching का word जहाँ यूज हो रहा है वहाँ होता है deeply affected. इसको आप यूं phrase out करेंगे. Grandmother felt an aching absence as she desperately missed her children. Her grief is so deep that she could not stop herself from missing them in every second. ठीक है. Again phrase out कर देती हूँ आपको. Grandmother felt an aching absence as she was desperately missing her grandchildren. Her grief ran so deep that she could not stop herself from being ached, from aching her heart in their absence. Right? Let's move on to question number 4. How does the poet's own family life changed from the traditional way of his grandmother? They have become more modern. ठीक है? They have become more modern and they have been using more gadgets as we speak about the Phillips grinder rather than the Chucky that was being used by his grandmother, right? So, from traditional old-fashioned way, their life had changed into a modern one, ठीक है, with more luxuries of life. What does the aroma of the maize roti recall to the poet's family? The aroma of the maize roti recalls the time when they had announced that they are going to Europe, that they are shifting to Europe, and the time their grandmother felt extremely sad. ठीक है? What does the aroma of the maize roti recall to the poet's family? The aroma of the maize roti recalled the time of their departure from their homeland to the Europe. And they recalled the time when they had announced that they were leaving to their grandmother. What does the verb ran in tells you about the parents' mood when they went to tell the grandmother about their departure? Do you think they could have found a kinder way to inform her? Well, ran in tells us that they were extremely excited. ठीक है, इसको आप यूं phrase out करोगे. The verb ran in tells us that the parents' mood was full of excitement when they went to tell the grandmother about their immigration to Europe. They could not have found a kinder way because they did not realize how their grandmother would feel about their absence. Since they were happy, they thought that she would be happy as well. But they did not realize that if they would not be around, how lonely she would feel. How do you know that the grandmother was deeply affected by their absence? How did she feel? Well, we know because of the line where the poet says that her heart ached. ठीक है, उसका दिल तकलीफ करने लग जाता था when she missed her family. इसको यूं phrase out करोगे, we know that the grandmother was deeply affected by their departure when the poet describes that she looks into the empty room with an aching heart. She is missing them so deeply that her heart ached with their absence, ठीक है, with the point of missing them up. Literally, a gust of wind shut the door on light. Describe it metaphorically and why this is the best final line. Well, a gust of wind, हवा का एक झोंका, उससे दरवाजा धाड़ बंद हो गया. ये तो literal हुआ. Metaphorically ये हुआ, their life in their native land had ended and they have started a new life in an alien land, right? And the grandmother would never see them again for a long period of life. So the door closed. They have been shut down from the grandmother's life. Two ways these words can be used metaphorically. Why? We can just, I'll just give you the words that one segment of life ended and the other started, right? Why is Chucky an appropriate title of the poem? Why do you think Chucky is an appropriate title of the poem? Well, in Chucky, you grind the waves up and life is just like Chucky. ठीक है? All the happenings that happen over here, all we get in life gets grinded, mixed together, and thus what emerges from the Chucky, the flower, is what we are. From all the goods and the bads, from all the grief and the content, we come out just like flower comes out from Chucky. This is what life is all about. This is how metaphorically the poet is giving you the message that all we are is what we make of ourselves. But remember this, that the ones whom we leave behind are the ones who misses us the most, right? These were the comprehension question and answers for this specific poem. There is another poem at the end, ठीक है, और आपको ये speaking और listening activity में कराई गई है. Let's move on to that poem. जी बेटा, what is on the board? On the board are two different poems in two different lines. एक है mom और एक है dad. It's about your mom and your dad. Let me read out the poem for mom first, and then I'm going to read out the poem about dad, and then we are going to do the discussion questions. ठीक है? Mom, sadness stealer, cut me healer, hug me tighter, wrongness writer, gold star carer, chocolate sharer. Well, sometimes she shares the chocolate. Hamster feeder, bedtime reader, great game player, nightmare slayer. How come she always knows that I have a nightmare, right? She is my never glum and constant chum. Second to none, we are under her thumb. Mom, right? So these are all the qualities of your mom. Let's read on what the poet has said about dad. Tall story weaver, full of fever, bad joke teller, 10 decibel yeller, baggy clothes wearer, pocket money bearer, nightmare banisher, hurt heart vanisher, beer hugger, biscuit mugger, worry squasher, noisy nosher, lawnmower, smile sower, football mad, fashion sad, not half bad, so glad I had my dad. So these are all the qualities of a common dad, right? Let's move on to this discussion question. Do you understand each line? When he says that the mom is sadness stealer, she steals the sadness. And if you are hurt, you run to your mom. So if you have a cut knee, you are going to run to your mom to get it fixed. And she heals everybody and hugs everybody tighter. And if you have done any wrong, you definitely run to your mom to get it right. And she cares you so much that she could earn a gold star for her care. Chocolate sharer. Sometimes she does, है ना? Sometimes moms eat our chocolates and feeds our pets and reads to us at bedtime. And she plays games with us. And whenever we have a nightmare, she's the slayer. Slayer कौन होता है? जो छुरी से कता कमा कर देता है, ठीक है? तो nightmare slayer. And this keeps me wondering how she knows. She is my never glum. कभी sad नहीं होती. Constant chum means constant my friend. And she is second to none. और हम सब उसके अंडर हैं, अंडर हर सब. और यहाँ पर कहते हैं टॉल स्टोरी वीवर, बड़ी बड़ी कहानियाँ बनाते हैं. फुल ऑफ फीवर, बड़ी बड़ी फेब का मतलब होता है झूठ, ठीक है, या आप यूं कह लें कि एग्जैजरेशन. उनके जोक्स कभी मजे के नहीं होते. 10 डेसिबल का मतलब होता है इतना लाउड बोलते हैं वो. बैगी क्लोथ्स पहनते हैं, पॉकेट मनी देते हैं और कहते हैं कि मैं नाइटमेयर्स को आके ख़त्म कर दूंगा. और अगर हम दुखी हो, हमारा दिल परेशान हो, तो वो हमें हंसा के परेशानी ख़त्म कर देते हैं. बियर हग क्या होता है? जब कोई आपको कस के घुट के जप्पी डाले. तो बाबाज डू दैट एंड बाबाज ईट योर बिस्किट्स एज वेल, ठीक है. वरीज ख़त्म करते हैं, स्क्वाश कर देते हैं और पूरे घर में उनका शोर मचा होता है. लॉन मो कहते हैं वो स्माइल्स, हंसियाँ के बीज बोते हैं, ठीक है. फुटबॉल के लिए मैड होते हैं और फैशन सेंस उनकी ज़ीरो होती है. और वो आखिर में कहता है कि मेरा डैड इज़ नॉट सो बैड, ठीक है. What do you like? अच्छा, best thing about these two poems. For me, the best thing is the Nightmare Slayer and the Nightmare Banisher. वो ख़त्म कर देती हैं और वो गायब कर देते हैं, ठीक है. What do you like the most? Again, I like these the most, ठीक है. She always knows that I am in a worry and he gives bear hugs and the tall stories and sows the smile. Any qualities your parents have? Well, my parents are very disciplined, extremely disciplined. I don't know about yours, but mine are very disciplined. So discuss what the qualities of your parents are with your friends. Let me know in the comments. I'll be waiting. आज क्या क्या हमने Unit 8 Chucky poem written by Tariq Latif. We read the poem, understood it, and did the reading for interpretation. Along with that, we did 2 more poems and did the discussion questions of speaking and listening activity. ध्यान रखो, हंसते खेलते रहो, दुआओं में याद रखो. Inshallah, we'll meet soon again. By the time, Allah Hafiz.